Hello, beautiful souls. Victoria Amador here from Soul Healing Tribe, and today I want to take the time to go over an example of a numerology report and really express I fell in love with numerology by coincidence. It was just something that happened when I was channeling and I was going into trance to understand deeper how to help people that are going through spiritual awakening and that perhaps don't can recognize what things we need to work on. And I think that happened also because sometimes we get so much coming at us and we have no idea like what can come first, what do I need to work on first, how do I know who I am. And sometimes we do need these things like divination, numerology, astrology to help us understand that we're not going crazy, because some of the things are predetermined for us, right? Like somehow we agreed to those things before arriving here and being incarnated. So when we hear the numerology, the astrology, the divination, it's like, yeah, well, that means that I'm not really making this up. I had clients and myself personally that sometimes I'm like, this is just crazy. How can I be this way when I don't want to be this way? And we can find some of those answers in the different tools that we have channeled throughout the ages and ages, right, of being here in this planet. So with numerology, I hate numbers. I really do. Like, that's the worst thing that can happen to me. But numerology is a different ball game. I just feel so like an immense attraction to it. So when I started channeling and pulling the lessons for the Awakening the Healer Within program, I really became fascinated with numerology, and then I went into learning even more about IFA and IFA numerology, basically. I mean, it's not called numerology, but I call it numerology for the sake of this conversation so that you can understand what I'm saying. But, seeing how everything falls in place is kind of fascinating. And I really love that. And one of the things that I always like to remind people, all of this information was channeled thousands of years ago. How can I say this? This is something that somebody had the capacity to understand and channel that information from beyond. And this is why I find it fascinating. So when we start seeing two and two come together, it's mind-blowing. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. And the reason why I want to do this today is because I want people to understand what we can, of course, we can find the life path, the birthday number, all of that basic information that you can find online. But what I really want to uh, take a little bit of time here is to see, see if I can make this a little bigger, show you how some of these numbers are crucial for us to understand. And you can find it online. You can go and do a Google search and put in your information, do a calculator if you don't want to do it by hand. But when it comes to the deeper things, to know how one thing leads to another, that's something that you probably need a little bit of help or can take the time to calculate yourself. So for this person here, let's go here so we can see the life path, we can see the birthday number, the expression number. But one of the things that I want you to also consider is that from the different karmic lesson numbers, we can also find the subconscious number. When we find the subconscious self number, this is going to lead us to understand how do we operate in general, like how do we address the challenges. And this comes from the karmic lesson numbers. Some people don't have a karmic lesson number per se, like they don't have a debt that they need to pay, but there will be lessons. Some people don't have any lessons pending. So they may be here for a different purpose. But there will still be a self number, because that's how we address what the challenges, the everyday struggle. This is how we see life in general. So even though you might be a life path number, 1, 2, 3, whatever, the subconscious self number is going to be different. So this is something that I want to convey, because a lot of people just focus on the life path number and they have no idea about anything else. The expression number, I think that's pretty common, the personality number, all of that, but pay attention also to the hidden passion number. This is something that a lot of people will be, why am I so interested about? Like, there is something within me that wants to be free. For example, with this number 5 here, could be, I want to be free, but I feel stuck. I want to be able to express who I am authentically, but I don't know how to do that. So there might be, and the challenges here are going to be different for everybody depending on your life path, your name, and all of the information that we pull together. So when we start thinking about, now this person is also has a lot of energy of the number 11, the master number 11, because of the day that this person was born. So this person not only has a lot of creativity and naturally channeling abilities, but this person also is the naturally gifted mediumship and psychic abilities. So you look at the person, and the life path number and the day that you're born is also going to give you a lot of clues about who you are as a regular day, everyday type of person. The life path number is going to give you more about like part of the mission, but when you're here every day, there are things that you're doing in and out, and that becomes like who you are on a everyday basis, right? So let's just go, let's see, I want to point, yeah, so you see here with the day that you're born, you also have specific characteristics that really reveal the, not only your psychic abilities, because everybody has a different psychic ability depending on the day that you're born and the name that you were given at birth. And also even we can calculate the name that you're given once you marry. We can calculate how is that going to affect you with that new name that you take on. And there are things that you can do to change. The name is given to you by your parents, by your guardians. But once you become more conscious and you decide to change your name, you're bringing a new energy in. What is that new energy in? Is it in alignment with your life path, with your mission here? Is it going to create a lot of challenges? And we can calculate that. So you might add or remove letters from your name to be more in alignment with your mission. And that changes vibrationally. All the letters have vibrations, right? And we know that this planet is about vibration. So by changing one letter or several letters within your name, you can change energy to move in a different way that is more in alignment with what you want to do in this life. I know a lot of people probably never considered that before, but it is definitely something that you want to consider. So as you can see here with the expression number 5, we go into some of the things, the pros and cons, not only in romance, but in health as well. Because I think a lot of us, we don't consider, especially when we're very spiritually inclined, we tend to forget about the physical, the health here. And, this is something that I'm paying a lot of attention to as well for this year for me, because, I definitely need to go back to taking care of myself, right? And I think this is a year that we all have to really start thinking about that. And obviously the career and finance is very important. So we go through that in the report. The heart desire number, again, this is what you really want. Like what is your soul, your spirit is yearning for. So we go into that, and it reveals really fascinating information, like based on the name and your birthday. I want to go into this is an analysis for the next coming years for this person based on the year that we're in, 24, 25. We can go up to 5 years to be more relevant. Like 3 to 5 years is the most common that we normally tend to analyze. And one thing, let's just go over this right here. The analysis, and this analysis is based on the Chaldean analysis. This is going to be different, a little bit different than the Western numerology. And why I love this is because here we're looking at different personality traits that normally we don't tend to find within Western numerology. So here we can see some pros and cons, and what energies are we really working with based on the different periods within our name and the date of birth. So this person has obviously it's the life path number 3, but we also have the number 3 here repeated, the 7 and the 2 and the 1. This person has a lot of triple energy of the 1. So this person can be extremely confident or very not so confident, very insecure, and can be dealing with a lot of challenges with when we're not very confident, and we need to step into that energy of knowing who we are, especially at a young age, because the energy here of the 2 reveals that this person at a young age is going to have a lot of challenges that they need to overcome. Later in life, they're going to step into a lot of power. And this here is just confirming that the number 1 here 3 times is confirming that there is possibility to, if you overcome those insecurities, that you can be extremely confident. So the person here also have to be careful with not being too not taking their pride to the next level, because that can create a lot of issues with other people feeling that they're very arrogant. And we know what happens when we become very arrogant. Eventually we have to humble down and go through a lot of ups and downs and struggles. So the advice here for this person that has the energy of 2 and the energy of the triple 1, and this person is very spiritual, they have a lot of spiritual power here. So the advice is to really work on what creates shame and embarrassment for this person, because they need to work through that energy in order to overcome a lot of the struggles that they're going to face in life. So again, this is just going to explain some of the things, but when I do the report, I look at the different things and put some notes for the people requesting the report. Another thing that I wanted to share, a lot of energy of 6. So a lot of this person may be relying too much on family or not relying at all. There is this balance here that needs to happen with the energy of the number 6. So let me just skip all the way down to the lo-shu grid. And I love the lo-shu grid because it can give us a lot of clues as well that a lot of people might not consider before. And with the lo-shu, we see the different planes. And we talked a lot in the previous videos about the different planes of existence. And in the lo-shu, which is why I find the lo-shu fascinating, is because they also talk about the different planes and how it affects us here now. So it's almost like mashing down what is in the higher planes coming down to this physical plane and understanding how it affects us here now in this life based on our name, our numerology, and where these numbers are within the lo-shu grid. So we can see that we have the action plane, the will plane, thought plane, mental plane, emotional plane, practical plane, the willpower plane, and the spiritual plane. So we have all of these planes that can be found within the lo-shu grid when we do the card. This reminds me when we do when people say, do you play palo, and they're throwing in the different tools that are used for divination, and the energies of the muertos, and fumbis and so on are going to be talking and saying what they need to say. This reminds me of of the same tablet that is used, the mental space that is used when playing Palo. So I find that just amazingly, like the energy feels similar, like we are using these tools to know what the astral and the different planes of existence are telling us about us based on numerology, which is amazing. So here we can see the different planes and the attribution depending on the person's name and date of birth and so on. And we can see the distribution. And even though this person, for example, says he doesn't have a spiritual plane, that is, anyway, so that it says 0%. What this means is that this person, no, it's not that he doesn't have spiritual power, is that it can have too much and become negative. The person can be almost like, how I see someone in a mountain looking down and seeing all the dynamics, and can become right in the middle, too light or too bright, or too dark, and it's right in the middle. And this person, either they, depending on the day and energy and so on, can be very positive or very negative. So it's almost like always doing this. And now remember, this person is a Libra. So what that means is amplified even more, because Libras have this balance that they need to go through. And with this energy here of the spiritual plane missing all the numbers, it means that this person is really tapped in to the point that they can feel collective energy, where it feels like, what is it going to be today? Is it going to be positive or negative? And their mind can be fluctuating between very positive and so it can be very exhausting. It's someone that is like, today I feel amazing. And then the next day comes and it's like, life sucks. This is this energy here of missing all of these numbers here. If you see, all of those numbers are missing. So when you go from missing all the numbers, that means that there's no balance there. So the person is going to have to do a lot of work on their mental. The person might feel stuck at times. The person may feel like, this definitely is the energy of the master 11. The master number 11 has to have, and even the 33 have to have, or the 2 have to have a lot of inner contemplation, because otherwise it can feel out of balance. And there's so much being channeled all the time that they lose themselves in it. And it can be too much sometimes. So that means that they need to really balance the spiritual with the physical in order for them to. And normally they would be more worried about the collective, community, family, and so on, than themselves, because that's when they find peace. When they worry about themselves, everything becomes distorted. So it's just fascinating what we can find with numerology. Now, the thought plane, the more numbers you have, the more balance you have. So here we have 1 out of 3. So obviously, this person is going to have to do more work than somebody that has more numbers here in those planes of existence, right? So here we can see the spiritual plane is missing all the numbers. So yeah, it's just not so good, because there's no balance. You either way, at any point you can go from very happy to very sad within a matter of seconds. That's what it means. So the mental plane, the will plane, and obviously you can see that it gives you an explanation. It will have an explanation. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that with this, we can also know more about ourselves. Like, this person might tend to go into the occult, given the fact that they're missing all those numbers. Also, if they have a lot of energy of the 2, even here, that's going to also mean that they have a lot of energy that is always thinking about, they have access to the subconscious and unconsciousness on more than somebody else that doesn't have a lot of energy of the number 2. So these people tend to be very interested in things that are not physical here. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it the practical plane. This person here, it talks about the fact that they do have the potential for success, business advancement, top promotions that is predetermined. So that what they need to do is make sure that they don't get lazy, because this energy with the Libra can also become a little lazy at times. And here we can see the numbers that are missing, 4, 5, and 6. So, but they also missing the 6 and the 8. So this is a little different than the Chaldean, and combining both with the Western numerology gives you a really good comprehensive overview about who you are, the characteristics that are good, the strengths and the weaknesses. So we also go into, let me see if I can find, where did I put this is just the other, I don't know where I put it, the years to come. Where did I put that? The 2024, 2025, 2026, and so on, and what's going to happen in those years, like the things to be aware of. I think that's very important, because it can give us a really good overview of like what months are best to do what. And let me just see if I can find where I put that. That one talks about the romance and so on. Okay, I don't know where I put it, but anyways, for example, in my report, when I did my calculation 2024, for me, depending on my life path and my name, it means that my number is going to be number 9, and number 9 is the end of ending cycle. So it's a very good number. For some people, it could be number 8, number 7, number 3. Depending on the number, it's going to give you pros and cons, depending on the name, numerology, and the year, and the month. We can see what months are going to be best, what's the year overview, how to really go about that, so that you can have, it's almost like having a cheat sheet to know, okay, these are the months that I can really use this type of energy. These are the ones that I really have to be careful with X, Y, and Z, or going into a partnership so I don't make mistakes, or slowing down or speeding up, whatever it may be. So it can become really, it's a good blueprint for the year, because it just makes you, it just makes you want to know, like, okay, this is a year where I can do X, Y, and Z, or I can go into investments or so on, which sometimes we have no idea where we're working from. So having that information can help to like clear our minds so that we can think clearly. And let me just see if I can find it real quick. Okay, I'm not going to make you waste time, so I'm going to leave it here for now. For those people that are interested in getting the report, it's a basic report like the one that I show you, and you can go to soulhealingtribe.com/numerology, and you can order that report if you want to, or you can go online and Google and do the calculations and put it together one by one. It can be a really good exercise, because you'll also be learning a lot about yourself, right? So it can be very fascinating. All right, my love, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for being here.